Hi folks, I want to stress from the beginning of this video that this is not a review of the movie Renfield, okay? Because I believe fully that if you're going to review a movie properly, you have to see the entire movie, okay? And that's usually what I do. Even if I'm not enjoying a movie, I usually will see it all the way to the end and render a verdict, because sometimes a movie can start good and get worse, or start bad and get better as it goes. So I really am not reviewing this movie. I'm just telling you about an experience I had. Okay, a friend of mine made me, thankfully, a free copy of this thing, Renfield, and I knew what it was going in. I fully understood that we were going to have Nicolas Cage as Count Dracula, and it was going to be about his assistant Renfield, and it was going to be a comedy. I knew it wasn't a serious horror film, so it's not like I went into this expecting a serious horror film and got disappointed. No, I expected a full-out comedy, so that wasn't a problem. But I put the movie on last night, and I lasted 10 minutes. Maybe 15, maybe I gave it 15, but no more than 15. I was disgusted. I was pissed off. I actually just stopped the movie, something I never do. I very rarely have walked out of movies. I can count maybe one or two of them that I remember walking out on in theaters, and I very rarely say, this thing stinks, or more appropriate in the case of Renfield, sucks. I'm going to take this out of here and just stop. I'm not wasting my time. First of all, what pissed me off about this movie? Well, it's just insanity from the beginning. Right away, they don't stop. Right away it's craziness and leaping about and flying about and fighting and flying across the room and all this kind of stuff. Like because everybody in the modern era, I'm sorry, folks, here comes a tirade on modern movies, especially of this kind. Everything has to be insane and mind-numbing CGI and craziness right from the get-go. Otherwise, people's short attention spans can't be hooked in, And I just hated that. Just ridiculous, over-the-top blood and gore, Hey, anybody who watches my movies channel knows I like slasher films. I like blood and gore. But there's just something sometimes with just for the sake of it that just gets me annoyed, and that's what this was. The character of Renfield didn't interest me within the 10 or 15 minutes. I know it takes time to develop, but this wasn't going to be developing to anything. You could tell that right away. I didn't look up who wrote this piece of crap. I didn't look up who directed it, but the directing was horrifying. And I don't mean that in a horror movie sense. It was absolutely mortifying, terrible directing. And the writing was even worse. And let me elaborate on that a little bit. What really annoyed the hell out of me was, within the first 10 minutes, the amount of F-bombs needlessly thrown around by all the characters. F you, no, F you, no, F you, F you. F-ing this, my F-ing that. Hey, I went over there, my F-ing, you F-ing. It made Goodfellas look like it was, I don't know, Cinderella or something, okay? I've never seen so many F-bombs or heard so many F-bombs within the first 5 or 10 minutes of a movie for no reason except to write them. I mean, that's the way all the characters talk. Police officers are walking around, law enforcement, hey, F you too, hey, F-ing, I went to the F-ing this and I saw the F-ing that. Get the hell out of here. Learn to write, okay? And it really pissed me off enough that's what made me shut it off. It wasn't just the fact of the crazy nonsense going on, all the insane, mind-numbing action needlessly in the first 10 minutes for no reason. It wasn't just that. It wasn't just the way the over-the-top gore was rendered. It wasn't just that. It was mostly the F-bombs. And I don't say that as a prude. Hey, look, Pulp Fiction. I'm wearing a Pulp Fiction shirt, okay? So I'm no prude, and when it's done well, like this movie is, it's okay. But there was way too much. And the characters in this movie shouldn't be police enforcement going around, F this, F that. It was just stupid. This is a Universal film, and a lot of you may know, or if you don't, I'm telling you now, my favorite films in the world are the old Universal classic monsters. I've seen a lot of crappy, disgraceful renditions of the Universal monsters, starting with the Brendan Fraser Mummy in 1999. What a pile of mind-numbing, over CGI-infested crap that was. And I only lasted a few minutes of Van Helsing. That's the same thing here. I felt a Van Helsing vibe with the first 10, 15 minutes of this movie. I don't need another Van Helsing, okay? Universal is my favorite in the old movies. I really wish they would take their classic monsters and try to find a way to do something smart with them, respectful with them. The most respectful thing in the Renfield movie was, I gotta say, when in black and white at the beginning, when they kind of recaptured the old Bela Lugosi vibe, the Universal 1931 movie. That was a classy thing. I'm sorry if it bored some of you people out there that can't take black and white or can't take a pace, that have to have everything in your face all the time, okay? So, yeah, I hated this thing. I really did. And I can only imagine that Bela Lugosi and Dwight Frye are rolling madly over in their graves right about now.